Oh, that's better than I thought.
The guest introduces a combination table they received from a friend about 40 years ago, who no longer needed it. They were drawn to its design and decided to keep it. The appraiser examines the table, noting that it was made by the Combination Table Company and
got two patent dates, if we look at the plaque, of 1893 and 1896, which is sort of two designs, refined designs and patents.
they explain that the table represents turn-of-the-century American furniture design and manufacturing. The appraiser demonstrates the table's functionality, showing how it can be converted from a shelving unit to a
table. They usually have sort of about three positions.
They mention that such tables were often used as store displays. The appraiser mentions that not much is known about the Combination Table Company, but it was later bought by the Usurper Company. They express admiration for the table's design and versatility. If the table were to be auctioned, the appraiser estimates its value to be between
I'd probably estimate it at $800 to $1,200.
Okay. Oh, that's better than I thought.
Anticipate hearing the value of their items, and the same can be said about the viewers of the show. We wonder how many basketball games this woman got to enjoy over the years. She worked with one of the best college basketball coaches, Gino Auriemma, who is a three-time winner of the WBCA National Coach of the Year. She came to the show with 11 championship rings that belonged to the Yukon women's basketball team. Having one championship ring is amazing, and having a complete set is definitely awesome. The value for the set was $100,000.
And hopefully we add to it.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for bringing it in. It's so cool. I know people out there are like, wow, like, nobody gets to see something like this. Really
Thank you
cool.
very much.
The story of the Holocaust by the Nazis in Germany is such a sickening thing to hear. The story this guest shared about his mother's Holocaust camp experience brought the appraiser to tears and probably some viewers too. He brought a shirt that was worn by his mother in the camp, some pictures of her, and a letter she wrote to her parents while she was in camp. They were valued at $10,000, but these items certainly hold more value than money could buy.
I mean, it's just a very difficult.
Lithograph that was an advertisement for Purolator air filters in the Saturday Evening Post was bought for $15 by the owner in 1970 and later valued at $15,000 on the show. Now that's the kind of investment we like to see.
Whoa. Winner, winner, winner. Good. Well, this is not bad for a $15 investment.
Costume sketch made by Edith Head for the movie Sunset Boulevard. Edith Head is regarded as one of the most influential costume designers in film history. She made the sketch for a costume worn by the lead actress of the movie, Gloria Swanson. The sketch had a value of $10,000 to $15,000.
More than I thought, so that's nice to know.
Oldest brother of the guest, who was a guitarist. It is a 1976 Gibson Explorer guitar made out of mahogany. The model of guitar is a reproduction of the original model, which was made with Carina wood in 1958. The appraiser placed a value of $3,000 to $4,000 on the guitar. To move his things out of his parents' attic, he rediscovered his Avengers comic books and brought them in for valuation. His mother had paid $24 at auction to purchase the comic books for him years back. The guest's Avengers comics were among the first editions released in 1963. The comic was written by Stan Lee and illustrated by Jack Kirby. Both books were valued at $4,500 to $6,500.
No way, you were kidding me. In that condition? Wow, my mom is going to freak out.
The owner of these lamps hadn't realized that they were valuable until a friend pointed it out to him. The lamps were designed by Finnish designer Lisa Johansson Pape. They were made from opaque glass around the 1950s.
I think that you could probably call them a mushroom. She did other things. There's a Finnish word for onion. She definitely liked a stylized, streamlined fruit and vegetable inspiration.
The pair of lamps were valued at $2,000 to $3,000.
Wow. Wow. That's a great $20 investment.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Letters to celebrities asking for their autographs. This man's father did. He collected signed baseballs and 12 autographs, including that of 8 Hall of Fame players like Babe Ruth and Honus Wagner. The collection was given a value of $25,000.
Really? Wow, that's unbelievable. Terrific. Thank you.
Received a wedding gift from a family member who was a very popular and magnificent artist. Lois Mailou Jones was an African-American artist and also the guest's great-grandaunt. Lois was also an art educator and serves as a role model for African-American artists. During her years, she championed the artistic achievement of African-American art. The guest's wedding gift valued at $25,000.
So
Thank you.
that's where I would place it.
Thank you. Lois will be pleased.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
Named Tiffany got a Tiffany as a birthday present. How fantastic. It was a vase made in the 1920s by Tiffany Furnaces, a company owned by Louis Comfort Tiffany. The vase was made with Favril glass, Louis' popular discovery. The appraiser put a value of $30,000 to $50,000 on the vase.
Oh my God.
Wow. Wow, I had no idea.
I think it's really lucky that you were named Tiffany.
Not after the jewelry store, after the family dog that
No?
was named after the jewelry store, so.
Get fascinated by antique items. This little boy was attracted to this silver piece because it had the first letter of his name on it. The piece is known as a demi-tasse pot, which is used to serve coffee. It was made by a company named Watson.
And then in 1900, another company, Watson, they were commissioned to make hollowware, which this is called hollowware.
The pot's value was $250 to $350.
Wow. Wow. For something I found on the side of the road, that's amazing.
Than having a diamond jewelry that could serve as a necklace and bracelet, it was purchased by the guest's great-great-great-grandaunt back in the day, and later acquired by her father after buying it for $20,000. The jewelry was made with 25 carats of diamond that was found in South Africa during the 20th century. Its value was a cool $60,000 to $90,000.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
It is beautiful.
Oh, how fun.
Story of acquiring a pottery piece from his father-in-law's family. The item was identified as Aoma Pueblo pottery, originating from Mexico. They are renowned for their unique type of clay, which is thin-walled and has a whitish color. Additionally, Aoma pots feature a distinctive orangey coloration at the bottom. Despite some surface deterioration, the pot was remarkably well preserved considering its size. The appraiser praised the designs on the pot, which were influenced by prehistoric pottery motifs. The piece showcased exceptional craftsmanship and the artist's virtuosity. Given the size and rarity of the special piece, the appraised value was
would bring $8,000 to $12,000.
Timeless testament to the craftsmanship of yesteryears, invoking a sense of reverence for the passage of time itself, is a tall grandfather clock and case. Passed down through generations, this clock reminds us to cherish the beauty of the past while embracing the promise of the future. The old clock still sings the same song, tick-tock, after many years.
But the precious old clock still sings the same song, tick-tick.
A peculiar feature of this wooden clock's case is its depth, indicating it's a unique wooden works movement and not a brass movement. Its gears and plates are made of wood, driving its weight-driven mechanism. The clock was made by a clockmaker called William Stillman in Connecticut, January 1791, which was when the case too was made.
And it says Bristol in Connecticut, and it has January 1791, which is right for the case in terms of its age.
Another interesting thing about this piece is the dial. It's an original dial and has 2 seat boards. Improvements have been made by incorporating a brass movement into the wooden works, extending its running time to 8 days compared to the typical 30-hour duration of a wooden works movement. A timepiece like this with its rich history, craftsmanship with meticulous restorations holding not just functional value, but also serving as a cherished piece of art would sell in the range of
$5,000 to $7,000. If it had its original movement, I think we're probably talking about a $15,000 clock.
traveling toy crane. This toy was graciously presented by our guest and belonged to his grandfather. Upon closer inspection of the crane's frames, we can discern the manufacturer's mark. It was crafted by the Kenton Morgan Toy Company in Kenton, Ohio.
Question, it's a toy made by the Kenton Toy Company in Kenton, Ohio.
This remarkable toy dates back to the 1920s or 1930s, making it an exceedingly rare find. Furthermore, the crane's design is intricate, adding to its overall allure and magnificence. It is fully functional and can accurately demonstrate the workings of larger cranes. However, there's a little break on one of its support frames and some damage on the crane's lever. Assembling a toy of such complexity is no easy feat, and its rarity makes it truly fascinating. The damages incurred are also very easily repairable. An item like this would likely command a significant value at auction around
$10,000 to $12,000.
Wow. That's amazing.
It is amazing, isn't it?
The necklace is absolutely mesmerizing. Inherited from her grandmother, this guest presents a dazzling golden necklace. This piece weighs 14 carats in yellow gold, and it was made circa the 1870s. The box in which the necklace came is also an important part of the item. Opening up the box reveals the maker's mark, which says Tiffany & Company. Tiffany & Company were important retailers and manufacturers of jewelry in the late 19th century America. Furthermore, the cross and reeded chain have a hollow link, which was machine-made.
These are hollow links that are machine-made.
Because this piece isn't signed, it is good to always keep it with the box to serve as a testament to its authenticity. This dazzling, elaborately decorated, and designed necklace exudes the nostalgia of a bygone era. It is also a symbol of the craftsmanship from back in the day, and at auction, this item would be valued at around
$3,000 and $4,000. For insurance purposes, it should probably be insured for about $9,000.
Oh, that much.
This one, she found a set of 4 woodcuts, a type of printmaking technique, in her backyard alley. They are Escher prints, created by the famous Dutch graphic artist M.C. Escher, known for his mind-bending works featuring interlocking shapes and impossible perspectives. Given the reputation of the artist and the fact the prints are a set of 4, the estimated auction value is
$3,000 to $5,000.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic.
S. Heritage, originating from their dad's family, spanning an impressive 13 generations. The lineage traces back to the early 1630s when the first family member arrived in Providence, Rhode Island. The items, a USS frigate President and a British ship Endymion, likely date between 1830 and 1850. They are believed to be inspired by Bowen's Naval Monument, an 1830 publication from Boston. Intriguingly, the items show signs of being carved by different artisans. While one piece features intricate details reminiscent of formal scrimshaw, the other exhibits a more rustic folk art style.
From Bowen's was probably carved by one person, and then the little extra details were added by another person who wasn't quite as formal a scrimshander.
The tooth depicting the American ship and flag, along with an eagle, is thought to represent a longing for home during the sailors' lengthy voyages, which could span over 2 years. The most enchanting aspect of the tooth is its inscription, capturing the longing and romance of the sea, reading, "When the evening sun declineth upon the silent seas, evening stars so sweetly shineth. Then, dear girl, think of me." Despite minor condition issues, these teeth form a harmonious pair, symbolizing the enduring connection between sailors and loved ones. Their combined retail value is estimated at
$25,000.
Wow.
This silver tankard, dating back to 1752, was presented to our guest's great-great-great-grandfather in 1844 by a coursing club just outside of London. The club appreciated his work as a judge and for his duties with them. Coursing is the sport of chasing small game, like foxes and hares, with a pack of 2 dogs. While the sport has evolved over time, it no longer involves live game due to changes in the law. English silver has always been highly valued, often traded and sold based on the number of ounces of solid silver. This tankard was originally plain, but was later embellished with hunting scenes by a silversmith.
and engraved it with the various hunting scenes, and then the inscription was engraved on it to be presented to your ancestor.
William Atwood, our guest's ancestor, was not just a judge, but also a sportsman who trained dogs for the sport. The tankard's value today is estimated to be between
$3,000 and $5,000.
Wow. Table from ancient Egypt that showcases the cleverness and skill of a civilization admired throughout history. Passed down to the guest by her mother-in-law, who was an antique dealer. It's a library table with a pyramid base and King Tut's head inlaid on it.
I would describe this as an Egyptian revival table.
Possibly from 3 time periods: the early 19th century, late 19th century, and the 1920s. The craftsmanship suggests that this piece is more likely from the 1920s, made in America using mahogany, oak, and walnut.
I think it's an American piece. One of the reasons I would say that is the woods in it. There's mahogany, there's an oak, and there's also walnut.
We see that the table has a wonderful pyramid base that's very eye-catching. And it also features an impressive paw feet reminiscent of the Sphinx, with taxidermy glass eyes that shine brightly. A table like this, which is a marvel to behold, evoking tales of pharaohs and gods, if seen at a shop, would sell for
$8,500 for it.
Oh, that's great.
Our first stop takes us to the roots of professional baseball in 1871. The guest's great-great-grandmother, a true baseball enthusiast, hosted players from the Cincinnati Red Stockings, who were among the first professionals paid to play baseball. The collection includes rare photographic baseball cards featuring legends like Harry Wright and Albert Spalding, along with a heartfelt letter expressing gratitude to their host.
Player to use a fielding glove. And what did he build from that? A sporting goods empire.
This is what the appraiser said about the historical significance.
If you're going to insure it,
insurance, okay.
I would insure it for at least $1 million.
Are you serious? Oh my.
The journey of a French Regency gilt bronze plateau circa 1820 began as a phoenix rising from the ashes. It came as a gift from friends during a housewarming party. The 3-piece plateau, whose initial purpose was to serve as a platform for displaying fruits, found an unconventional purpose as a mirror in the guest's home. Crafted in Paris around 1820, the plateau showcased rare craftsmanship, fire gilded with a blend of mercury and gold.
These were bronze cast pieces, and the surface was applied by fire gilding.
Considering the historical and artistic significance,
Plateaus are so rare, we would give this an auction estimate of $50,000 to $70,000.
Oh my gosh, John. Oh my gosh, John.
States in 1915, Jane Peterson, a luminary in the art world, created the Floats, a painting depicting the scenic charm of Gloucester, Massachusetts. Born as Jenny Christine in Elgin, Illinois, Peterson's artistic journey led her to Paris, where she associated with luminaries like Gertrude Stein, Picasso, and Matisse. The painting revealed its true form as gouache, a water-based but opaque paint. With its vibrant post-impressionist style, the personal connection through the owner's great-aunt added an extra layer of significance to this masterpiece.
So I think if this were to sell in a retail gallery, it might bring as much as $50,000. Oh my word. Wow.
The annals of sports history, Muhammad Ali's training shoes from the Thriller in Manila takes center stage. Acquired directly from Ali's trainer, Angelo Dundee, after the historic 1975 heavyweight championship fight, these shoes carry the weight of a legendary boxing bout.
And he threw these shoes in with a note that says, these are the shoes that he wore in Manila.
With no documentation but a note from Dundee, the appraiser estimates their auction value at $20,000.
Interesting.
But 10 years ago.
Interesting.
Underscoring the significance of provenance in valuing such sports memorabilia. In the mid-80s, a unique piece of cinematic history found its way into the hands of the guest. A breakaway headboard used in Francis Coppola's iconic film, The Godfather, Part 2, was acquired at auction for a mere $25.
It's funny, people who saw this, I overheard them here in the room saying, did an animal get to it? Nobody can understand why it was we were talking about this.
Right.
But the reason we're talking about it is because it's Godfather 2.
This piece witnessed the cinematic intensity of a scene where squibs exploded during an attempt on Michael Corleone's life. Intentionally distressed for special effects, the headboard became a rare artifact from the Godfather films. Its scarcity in auctions led the appraiser to estimate its value of $8,000.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, thank you.
A family heirloom, a sampler dating back to 1825, became a link between generations for the current owner. The sampler carried a hidden letter expressing the wishes of Elizabeth to keep it within the family. Despite being damaged by a playful 3-year-old, the sampler unveiled its historical richness. With silk on linen, it depicted a house, animals and steps, framed by Elizabeth's brother.
Sample is wonderful. It's large, it's very graphic. This house with the animals, the steps leading up to the front door.
The appraiser, recognizing its value beyond market considerations, suggested a $5,000 insurance value, emphasizing its role as a cherished family archive. Guest's connection to history unfolds through a collection of World War II posters, a gift received during her first year of marriage. Among the 70 posters, 4 stood out for their artistic merit and significance. 2 American posters, signed by renowned artists Jean Carlu and Norman Rockwell, captured the essence of wartime propaganda.
Jean Carlu was in fact a French artist working in America during the Second World War. Interesting to note, as a graphic designer, he only had one arm.
The appraiser valued the posters at auction for $750, while for the Carlu, $2,000, and for the British poster, $1,500.
Golly.
After recognizing the strong auction records of such wartime artifacts. Hailing from Brunswick, Georgia, the guest unravels their connection to Southern history through a signed first edition of Gone with the Wind. Margaret Mitchell's masterpiece boasts the author's rare signature.
She hated signing. So if you see this, this is a rare signature.
Acknowledged as a true first edition from May 1936, the book's imperfections, including a missing piece and soiling, add to its allure. Despite these, the appraiser valued it as
Today, you would put an auction estimate of $3,000 to $5,000.
Oh, wonderful. That's great.
and gold box discovered in a safety deposit box in 2001 unveils a story of craftsmanship and innovation. Identified as the work of Gerald Benny, the box showcases the Benny bark technique, a textured finish resembling bark.
He was hammering a piece of silver out and he didn't notice that his hammer was broken. And he looked down at what he was hammering. It had these wonderful gouge marks in it.
With royal warrants attesting to Benny's significance, the box is estimated to fetch $7,000 at auction. Culinary arts is immortalized in 5 copper pans donated to an auction. The guest's mother acquired these pans, which not only adorned Child's own kitchen, but also graced her iconic TV show.
These pans weigh quite a bit. It's amazing to think about her carrying these around in her program, and they are really quite heavy.
Recognizing the historical significance of these cookware artifacts, the appraiser estimates their auction value of $3,500.
Tail price. Wow. So,
what do you think these cookware artifacts are worth now? Let us know in the comments. Collection of Playboy magazines, once owned by the guest's grandfather, reflects his passion for beauty and photography. The collection includes the first 12 issues, featuring Marilyn Monroe on the debut cover, boasting contributions from writers like Ray Bradbury and Ian Fleming. These magazines serve as a captivating time capsule from a bygone era.
The thing is that Hefner was very enterprising. He worked for Esquire magazine and then decided to start this magazine for men, as he called it, and borrowed $1,000 from his mother to start it and produced the mock-up of this first copy in his kitchen.
This historical significance is underscored by an appraisal of $3,500.
Oh my goodness.
So,
making these vintage Playboy magazines a potential treasure. Gold iridescent glass candlesticks and a bowl found a home in the guest's grandmother's dining room. Crafted by Tiffany Studios, the candlesticks bear Tiffany's signature and can serve as candlesticks or bases for lamps. The bowl, a creation of Austrian company Loetz.
What's interesting is that they were shown together as though they were together, but they didn't come out of the same place.
Both items are appraised at $1,000 for the Tiffany candlesticks.
How exciting! I had no idea.
And $1,500 for the Loetz bowl, connecting generations through elegance and craftsmanship. The garage sale revelation turned into a treasure trove as the guest's mother acquired 8 Pastel Studies by Walter Sherlaw, a prominent American painter. Associated with the Art Students League in New York, Sherlaw's Pastel Studies were preparatory drawings for Library of Congress murals. The original frame, matter, glass, and labels at back add to their authenticity.
What I think is particularly interesting about these is that they're framed in the original frames with the original mats, the original glass.
Valued at $750 each in the retail market.
I love them. I think they're wonderful.
These Pastel Studies whisper the secrets of bygone artistic endeavors. The heart of Aoma, a molded pottery bear, speaks volumes about Native American artistry. Purchased in the late 90s, the bear bears the signature of D. Antonio. With graffito decoration depicting an eagle, deer, and a dancer, the bear stands as an intricate piece of cultural heritage.
This technique of decoration, it's not painted, it's called sgraffito, S-G-R-A-F-F-I-T-O, which literally means to scratch away.
Acquired for $800, the appraiser suggests its current market value remains in the same range. What do you think the value will be now? Let us know in the comments. In the realm of artistry, the tale unfolds around the prized possession of the guest, Françoise Guillet's yellow flower painting. This masterpiece is adorned with Guillet's distinctive signature and framed by a gallery label from Dalzell Hatfield.
And the prices are beginning to reflect this. In May 2013, there were 2 works that brought over $500,000.
The appraiser suggests a retail gallery value of around $20,000.
Really? Oh, you're kidding. I only paid $125.
This underscores the enduring allure of fine art, making it a captivating addition to art enthusiast collection.
Sorry to interrupt. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks in advance. Now, let's move on to the rest of the video.
Guests on the Roadshow want is to leave the show not knowing what the fate of their item is in terms of value. This man brought in a golf stick, which was claimed to have been made by John Shippen, the first American-born professional golf player who played golf at a time when only white people were allowed to play. Though the guest's golf stick had a stamp with Shippen's name, it couldn't be exactly verified as one which was made by him.
But based on what I see here, the most likely scenario is that he had to make a club for one of his clients, his golfers, and he put this club together.
If the golf stick wasn't made by Shippen, the appraiser noted that it would value between $50 to $75. However, if the owner could provide provenance for the item, its value would reach $1,000 to $1,500. He better start digging for that provenance. 50 years, no one in this woman's family had been able to fit into these pants. They were among the items in a care package that was gifted to the woman's grandmother. The guest family named the pants Adam and Eve due to the paintings of the biblical figures on it. It was made by the jeans manufacturing company, Wrangler, and because it had never been worn, the original tag was still attached to it.
The fact that these are so indicative of a period, that things more, in some ways, more collectible.
The pants received a value of $400 to $500. He is popularly known worldwide as a physicist, but little did people know that he was also very big on civil rights and racism. The guest's husband was the photographer for a ceremony held in 1946 at Lincoln University to award Einstein with an honorary degree. After the event, the guest's husband sent the pictures which he had taken of the physicist, and Einstein's daughter sent back a copy of the picture to him, but this time it was autographed by Einstein.
We don't see very many signed photographs by Einstein, and ones with this interesting historical resonance.
The group of pictures got valued at $7,000 to $9,000.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, well, thank you so much.
The Tiffany Pottery, the guest got intrigued by the piece and bought it at auction for $350. Many signs, however, indicated that it was a fake. Tiffany Studios were vastly known for making glass pieces and just a few potteries. The signature and the design of the guest's item, amongst other things, signified that it wasn't an original.
Because I think somebody made this from scratch and made a Tiffany fake piece from scratch.
Because of these indications, the appraiser said.
Purely for decorative value, perhaps it's worth $25.
Determined to end the cycle of deceit, the owner took a commendable decision.
The last person that's going to change it, and I will destroy that little emblem on it.
Generations, this little boy's family has been collecting these stones known as Indian arrowheads. Being a collector himself, the boy collected 2 out the pieces he brought to the show.
Many people in this room started like you do. They saw something they were interested in and they pursued it.
The smaller, flat-shaped stones were used by Native Americans to serve as an atlatl, a tool used instead of the typical spears or bows and arrows, while the big rounder stones were used for working wood and cracking nuts open. These stones had a $150 value. The mother of this man wore this piece around her neck as jewelry, but it was actually made to serve another purpose. The piece was a scent bottle which was sometimes carried around by women on their chatelaine. It was a 19th century 18 carat yellow gold French piece with paintings of various scenes.
So the metalwork is really exquisitely chased.
The owner went from knowing absolutely nothing about the piece to knowing that it's worth.
At auction today, that would probably bring around $7,000 to $9,000. Wow, that's great.
Brought back fond memories to watchers of the TV show. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, the guest, who had attended the same college with the show's host, Fred Rogers, came in with a signed and unsigned manuscript, which she used while performing at his senior recital. Frank was greatly admired and awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President George Bush for his contribution to children's education.
Oh, yes, absolutely. He was the sweetest man and so kind and so gentle, and he really was a delightful person.
The manuscript's valued at $450 to $650.
Fine, that's great.
Of this woman's husband cherished this pot so much that he hid it in a blanket chest whenever people came to the house. But is the piece truly valuable? It is a Pennsylvania Dutch coffee pot which dates back to the 19th century. The painting on the piece is referred to as toll, but the painter remains unknown.
A lot of times what we'll see is a diminished surface. Losses, flaking, rust coming through. We see almost none of that on here.
With a value of...
Today's market, we'd be looking at around $7,000 to $9,000 at auction.
It was indeed a valuable piece.
Phenomenal.
Oh my God. Never in a million years would I have thought that.
For win at a show, this man fell in love with the picture, but so much that he kept adding more. He had won a cow photograph which was taken by John Stryker, a photographer who developed creative ways of taking photographs of rodeo.
The legend is that he had a camera strapped to his boot, and he would lay down in the arena and take the pictures so the bull looked like it was actually flying.
All 4 pictures had a value of $3,500.
He would, after the rodeo, post these on a board and sell the photographs to the cowboys.
Was awarded to people who risked their lives to save others. In 1931, the grandfather of this man received one for rescuing an 18-month-old who had fallen into a 30-feet crumbling well.
They hauled the baby back up safely, squalling all the way, of course. Grandpa said the most scared he was down at the bottom of that well because it was caving in.
The mother of the baby whom he rescued had nominated him for the award, and after a 3-year process, he received the medal at a sum of $1,000. Medals are personal items, therefore they are rarely sold, however, the appraiser said.
But in thinking about what it might cost to reproduce a medal in bronze today, I would probably insure it for about $4,000.
Oh, okay.
Tiffany's work due to its remarkable colors and artistry, the guest purchased the Inkwell after reading about it in an antique article. Unlike typical Tiffany Inkwells, which are often part of a desk set, this piece stands alone as a testament to Tiffany's craftsmanship.
When we think about inkwells with Tiffany, we think about their bronze inkwells.
The Inkwell features vibrant colors and a distinctive wave decoration. Despite some condition issues on the bronze lid from tape marks, it retains its charm and elegance. Marked with LCT and an H, followed by a 3-digit number, indicating its early production, this exquisite piece is estimated to be worth
of $6,000 to $8,000. There's a pretty strong possibility that it would sell for even more money than that.
As a combined birthday and Christmas gift from their mother in 1965 for $350. It was appraised in 1982 for $20,000, likely for insurance purposes. The censer featured loose, articulated rings on the handles and relief carving of lotus vines with a butterfly forming the handle. When turned around, the lotus vines could be seen sprouting from a single source, showcasing exquisite craftsmanship. The detailing on the piece was mesmerizing, as you could see the delicate lines on the flower petals adding to its allure. The carving, although reminiscent of 18th century works by the Qianlong period, was likely done in the early 20th century. With the influx of buyers from China in recent years, the market for such pieces has changed, with prices now ranging from
the $50,000 to $80,000 range at auction, which is a pretty good price.
Well, it's still a very nice birthday present.
Presented a Kentucky dressing table made around 1805 to 1810 in central Kentucky. It belonged to the guest's great-grandmother and has been passed down through generations. This table is distinguished by its Kentucky characteristics, including inlaid bellflowers, dots, and diamonds on the legs. Despite being referred to as a sewing table, this piece is a ladies' dressing table, making it even more special and rare.
It's rarer than that.
Okay.
It's one of only 4 or 5 known in the world.
Made of walnut, which is unusual for Kentucky furniture, the table features a small, delicate design that adds to its charm and value. Also, the table's original rose head nails and untouched drawer bottoms indicate its excellent condition and authenticity. While this piece has been refinished over the years, this does not diminish its value, given its unique qualities and historical provenance, with a price value of
$20,000 to $30,000.
Wow, that's amazing.
My cousin gave it to me. She'll probably want it back now.
Right here is a melodious piece in the form of Norwegian Hardanger fiddle. This piece is a cherished heirloom with a rich history. Originally belonging to the guest's great-grandfather, this instrument is a significant piece of Norwegian heritage. The Hardanger fiddle is known for its intricate design and unique sound, making it highly prized among Norwegian immigrants. Crafted in Bo Telemark, a region renowned for its Hardanger fiddles, this instrument features traditional Norwegian decorations including rosettes along the edges and a lion's head, symbolizing Norway's national identity.
Is to the Norwegian Hardanger fiddle as Cremona is to the violin world.
One of the distinctive features of this piece is its sympathetic strings, which add depth and resonance to its sound.
We only need one of these because of the sympathetic strings. They have a huge, huge sound.
Despite some missing parts and signs of wear, this piece retains its beauty and historical significance. Made from native Norwegian woods with inlaid mother-of-pearl and decorated bone, this piece is a testament to the craftsmanship of its time that's valued at
$8,000 to $9,000.
Oh my goodness, wow. Well, my cousin gave it to me. She'll probably want it back now.
She brought in a wing that once belonged to her great-uncle, knowing only that he served in World War I. Their great-uncle was part of the Aero Squad of the 19th Balloon Company. The Military Aeronaut Wing, 1920, likely denotes a badge worn by military aviation unit members from the time. Military aviators often wore distinctive wings or insignia to signify their role and expertise. This specific style of wing is sometimes referred to as a balloon pilot wing by some individuals. These wings serve not only as symbols of pride and identity for aviators, but also as markers of skill and experience. Pilots earned various types of wings reflecting their training, combat experience and specific roles in the air service. On the back, there's a mark indicating it's from the first batch made at the Philadelphia Mint. Its short production window and limited quantity make it rare and valuable. The military aeronaut wing earned significant appraisal from the appraiser.
$2,500 and $3,000.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
Pocket watch, once owned by the guest's father-in-law, a local businessman in Knoxville, who operated his business for over 30 years, despite being legally blind due to retinitis, holds a special place in guest's family's history. Crafted with a 14-karat solid gold case and chain, this open-face pocket watch features a porcelain dial with Arabic numerals.
Nice and clean watch. The movement is so beautiful. Everything is bright and shiny.
Made by the Wittnauer Watch Company circa 1925 in Switzerland, it later became part of Longines Wittnauer, renowned for their precision timepieces for over 125 years. What sets this watch apart is its minute repeater function, chiming on the hours and minutes, a feature that would have particularly appealed to the guest's father-in-law, given his interest in such intricate mechanisms. This unique pocket watch is valued at approximately
should bring about $7,500.
Holy.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guest who received it as a wedding gift from his cousin. It was created by their uncle, John Cullen Murphy, 30 years ago. Originally, the Prince Valiant comic strip was created by Hal Foster in 1937 and ran until 1970. When Foster decided to step back, Murphy was chosen to continue the strip. The appraiser explained the history of Murphy taking over, which became an honor for his family.
For the first few years early on, Foster would send over kind of roughed out or drawn out pieces, and then Murphy would finish them up. And then Murphy took over the strip later on himself.
Over time, the value of the strips declined without Foster's involvement in the storyline. Despite this, the appraiser praised the artwork and expressed gratitude. The item evaluation was acknowledged by the guest.
I would probably put an auction estimate somewhere between $2,000 and $4,000.
Silk Cashin rug, dating back to around 1918 to 1920, holds a rich history, likely acquired by the guest's grandparents, possibly in Europe, during the 1920s. Despite being in the family for generations, it has remained in impeccable condition.
And then when we inherited it, we have dogs, so we didn't put it out then either.
Right, good. That's a good choice.
We enjoy it very, very much. And
this careful preservation has kept its silk pile luxuriously full, a rarity for rugs of this age and material. A recent appraisal valued the rug at $3,000, but its true worth far exceeds this estimate. Made in Kashan, Central Persia, modern-day Iran, this silk rug features an incredibly fine knot count estimated at 600 to 800 knots per square inch, showcasing its exceptional craftsmanship. The rug's intricate design and well-preserved condition make it highly sought after by collectors. If auctioned today, it could easily fetch an estimated
It would be $15,000 to $20,000.
wow.
And it would probably be conservative.
Wow.
It could easily sell for more than that.
Chest on chest, dating back to the late 1700s, holds a cherished place in this guest's family history, passed down through generations on their father's side. Originating from a renowned old Philadelphia family, this piece was actually crafted in southeastern Massachusetts or Rhode Island.
Or Rhode Island. So it was not made in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
It dates from about 1800 at the tail end of the Chippendale period.
Despite an earlier appraisal in 2005 valuing it at $20,000, its true worth lies in its material and craftsmanship. Made of tiger maple, collectors prize it for its premium quality and unique tiger maple grain.
You can actually feel the tiger maple in the moldings.
Yeah.
Featuring a delightful carved fan at the top and original Chippendale brasses, this chest-on-chest retains its originality and charm, appealing to enthusiasts who value untouched period pieces. The piece's condition is impeccable, with original feet and glue blocking, ensuring its authenticity and integrity. This antique's retail value remains around
$20,000 would be an appropriate retail value today.
Unusual-looking piece. A sculpture is presented today before us. It's a glass sculpture made in a city near Venice, Italy. The sculpture was made using Venetian glass, As with sculptures made with Venetian glass, we can see its translucency and the wide array of vibrant and rich colors from it. The sculpture wasn't made by Picasso, as he didn't work on glass, but was made by a glass company called IVR Mazzega, that is based on the island of Murano,
IVR Mazzega on the island of Murano,
and was molded in a Picasso-esque way, as we can see a variation of cubism and distorted forms. Crafted in the 1950s, the sculpture has a minimalist and modern design. This piece, made with Venetian glass known for its exceptional quality, features a Picasso-inspired design, well-crafted, and as well as interest in Italian glass would bring between
$4,000 and $6,000. It's a really good example of a fine representation of an important artist.
Oh my goodness, that's impressive.
Guest bought this French compote many years ago for just 25 cents at a rummage sale. Artist behind this is Gabriel Argy Rousseau. This piece is an early 20th century French pâté de verre compote. Gabriel Argy Rousseau was born in 1885 and worked in the early 20th century. He was involved in molding ground-up glass paste into various colors. It's a technique that dates back centuries but saw a revival in France during the late 19th to early 20th century. Let's see the sweet outcome of a mere 25-cent investment.
$4,000 to $6,000. Wow. Oh my goodness, that's impressive.
Value of this piece has dropped to between $3,500 and $5,000. Acquired this from his aunt, and once gracing a lamp for 50 years, this Marblehead Pottery tile from Marblehead, Massachusetts, is a testament to early 20th century craftsmanship. Originating from Dr. Herbert Hall's sanitarium-turned-pottery workshop in 1904, this tile reflects the arts and crafts movement with its stylized trees and serene pond scene.
It's painted in matte glazes.
While Marblehead Pottery primarily focused on pottery, their tiles are exceptionally rare, making this piece a unique find. Despite its rarity, the tile does have hairline cracks, which slightly impact its value. Considered the finest Marblehead tile the appraiser has ever seen, at auction, this Marblehead Pottery tile could fetch
somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000.
My goodness, really?
Okay. With the hairline crack, it'll be somewhere between $2,500 and $3,000.
Oh my heavens. I'm carting it around in a plastic bag.
With its unparalleled beauty and historical significance, captures the essence of timeless elegance. This guest showcases an Australian gold nugget on the show, which has been in her family for many years. The entire bracelet is crafted from a series of authentic gold nuggets.
Bracelet is made up of a series of real gold nuggets.
Featured on the bracelet is a carving of a kangaroo into the nuggets, a true work of art. Interestingly, Australia has a storied history of gold rushes and gold nuggets that significantly impacted the country's development. Gold nugget bracelets serve as tangible reminders of that era. This piece was likely worn by a wealthy individual as a souvenir from Australia. An item of such significance to Australia's history, especially in perfect condition, would undoubtedly fetch an auction value of around
$12,000 to $15,000, and if not in New York, certainly in Australia.
That's nice to know. Very nice to know.
Exquisite pieces. This piece is known as a cinnabar lacquer and was made during the Qianlong period that lasted between 1736 to 1795. China is said to have been the most famous nation during this period. The guest cinnabar lacquer is a beautiful and delicate piece.
Your grandmother or grandfather or someone from your family knew that this was quite a fragile piece.
Yes.
So look what they said here. Keep this ring in place when shipping or transporting from place to place.
Yes.
It was valued between $7,000 to $10,000.
Wow.
These girls did a good job by hiding her lamp away from her rambunctious children. Back in the 60s, the girl's mother came across an advertisement for a lamp. She immediately contacted the seller and bought the lamp for $125. It was made by Tiffany Studios, which was run by Louise Comfort Tiffany. The lamp was known as Rose Helmet Lamp and was made around 1905. The girl's lamp retained its original parts over the years, which made it a rarer item.
There's just everything is beautiful about this lamp. This lamp is worth between $80,000 and $125,000. Congratulations. Oh, I have to give you guys a hug.
Keep watching our videos to catch other marvelous pieces on the Antiques Roadshow. 8. This was what the artist Birger Sanson felt every painting needed, therefore. His pieces were always full of color, and he made sure his students did the same. The guest attended a summer art session in 1946 and was taught occasionally by Birger himself. He came to the show with a painting that was painted and signed by the artist. Although Birger denied being influenced by the Dutch artist Van Gogh, he was nicknamed the American Van Gogh.
And he had a unique style of painting where he left a very thick layer of impasto over the entire surface. I think at auction this might bring as much as $30,000 to $50,000.
Oops. Mother and her child on a garden bench. The painting was given to our guest by her mother-in-law and was painted by an esteemed French artist called James Jacques Tissot in 1884. Using a meticulous mezzotint technique, Tissot skillfully added tonal gradations to the canvas, enhancing its depth and texture. He named the piece La Banque des Jardins, which translates to garden bench in English, and offers a window into a serene moment amidst nature's embrace. What makes this piece unique is that it's a proof of a print with Tissot's name scratched into the margin, unlike the published versions. James Tissot's paintings incorporated elements of realism, impressionism, and academic art. As seen in this work, we can clearly see what Tissot was most known for during the peak of his career: people and women's fashion. A proof of a painting that shows Tissot's abilities and resonates with the work he was mostly known for would be auctioned between
$4,000 and $6,000.
Wow.
So it was a nice acquisition on your part.
Easter in 1932. A German Knotter rabbit from around 1900 would likely be a collectible, possibly made from ceramic or porcelain. They often feature intricate designs and delicate craftsmanship. The knotting mechanism, usually a spring or wire, lets the head move with a gentle touch or surface disturbance with mouth moves. This is more of an early 1900s type piece. It's got a couple of minor condition issues, like a missing little foot here. There's a tear in one ear over there. The ears are slightly loose, but overall it's in fairly decent condition. These figurines were often decorative pieces displayed in homes or used as toys. The appraiser valued this German rabbit
for around $4,000.
This captivating dog portrait for just $100. This painting is by Karl Reichart, a renowned Austrian artist celebrated for his animal portraits, particularly of dogs. Reichart's typical works showcase either anecdotal scenes or portraits of purebred dogs. He focuses on capturing facial expressions rather than depicting the entire body. Notable intricate details, such as the dog's expressive eyes and the historic dog collar, stand out. These collars are highly sought-after collectibles today. Its quality and historical significance make it worth between
about $4,000 to $6,000 on it.
Current value of the portrait has been appraised at $2,000 to $3,000. It was brought by the guest purchased from an antique shop. The item was believed to be a copper church collection plate. However, the appraiser identified it as Jewish art, specifically a charity collection plate used in synagogues. It was likely made of copper and originated from Poland or Eastern Europe in the mid-1800s. Upon careful inspection, the appraiser observed traces of Hebrew lettering. Furthermore, the item exhibited significant wear and tear, including a damaged latch, suggesting it had undergone repairs. Despite its condition, Judaica items are rare and highly valued. How much luck would this exceptional piece bring for the guest?
$1,000 at auction. What a nice piece.
These antique Qwaak masks stand as silent sentinels of ancestral customs and rituals. The masks showcased by this guest formerly belonged to his wife's father. Fascinatingly, these masks were crafted on the north end of the Vancouver Island by the group of natives formerly known as the Kwakiutl, or the Qwaak Masks. There are two different kinds of masks presented. The three masks seen here at the bottom are known as frontlets, often used by chiefs in traditional social ceremonies. It's no surprise that at auction they could sell for.
You're looking in the neighborhood of $6,000 to $8,000.
Featured on these masks are a series of holes and some inlays of abalone shell. Furthermore, the mask above was used in winter ceremonies, worn on a ceremonious night by dancers. At auction, it would fetch a value of
In the neighborhood of $20,000 to $25,000 on the large Thunderbird.
These masks were individually owned, eliminating legality issues in the commercial market. 3 of these masks represent a Thunderbird, and they would be valued at auction around
That's in the neighborhood of $8,000 to $10,000.
and another representing a beaver, also fetching a tidy sum at auction at around
$10,000, $12,000, $14,000.
Additionally, these masks date back to the early 20th century, except for this one, which dates back to the 19th century. Overall, these fascinating items are nicely preserved for their age and are highly desirable, with a large market demand pushing their auction values higher.
There's a reason why it's taken 7 years to find masks like this coming to the Roadshow. They're not that common. Yes.
Noting its exceptional craftsmanship, they point out the use of shading in the cloisons, which add to its fine quality. Our guest agrees, acknowledging the exquisite workmanship of the piece. Appraiser emphasizes the remarkable condition of the creamer considering its age. The appraiser mentions that such a Russian cloison creamer from around 1900 could fetch between $1,500 and $2,000. Myers folk art keg carving with a humorous label that reads Kentucky Whiskey. On the back it says, "His spirit rests in private stock." Our guest suggests that the carving may have been created during the Prohibition era. The appraiser agrees, indicating that the humor of the label likely dates back to the Prohibition period when the production and sale of alcohol were prohibited. The value of such folk art keg carvings, dating to around 1920, could range from $1,500 to $2,500.
I had no idea. I guess I'll take it out of the closet now and be a little more careful with it.
This model cradle has been cherished in the guest's family since the late 1890s, a gift from their great-grandfather who taught Indian children in New Mexico. Despite its age, the cradle showcases intricate beadwork, with the pink beads indicating its plains origin, specifically Comanche.
Kiowa and Comanche both made this type of cradle. I actually think this one is Comanche, which is a little rarer yet than the Kiowa.
Over the years, some beadwork has worn off, but the cradle's overall condition is good. The hood features a rawhide liner, and the drop, once buckskin, retained its original yellow dye. Comanche influence is evident in the crescent moons and the choice of colors, with medium-value beads like pink and blue being characteristic of their work. While restoration, estimated between $500 and $1,000, is needed to repair the beadwork, once restored, the cradle could be valued between
Worth about $30,000 to $40,000.
Wow. No, I had no idea. I guess I'll take it out of the closet now and be a little more careful with it.
And in a jar, that was the best description the owner of this item could give it. It was indeed a sand in a jar, but not just any sand. It was sand art. This sand art was meticulously done by a highly talented man, Andrew Clemens.
He used a big fish hook, a great big oversized fish hook, and like a popsicle stick. And he would take the sand that he'd collect along the Mississippi River, and then he would pack it in this bottle and manipulate it with the fish hook.
Andrew, who was deaf due to a brain deformity, now holds the record for the most expensive sand art sold at auction. The guest's great-grandfather was gifted the sand art at the end of the American Civil War by 2 friends. Its value on the show was,
I would guess that it's between $4,000 and $6,000 is what we'd estimate.
Years later, it increased massively, valuing between $30,000 to $50,000.
An art collector presented a Mortlock Island mask and Solomon Island canoe prow. On the left side is an authentic mask from the Mortlock Island, Micronesia. Mortlock Island is the only place where masquerade is performed in the region, and all of their masks resemble this one.
Stylistically, the painting is a little bit Baroque.
on this. We're looking at a 19th century mask and probably the latter part of the 19th century, somewhere between 1875 and 1900.
Collectors who acquired masks feel it's important to have one of these in their collection because no other mask could represent Micronesia well. The Solomon Island canoe prow, on the other hand, is a decorative prow that's on the front of a fishing or hunting canoe. It is also believed it acts to protect the crew during the voyage. It typically depicts a large head, small arms, and circular ear adornments. And the jutting jaws were traditionally held to be an attribute of spirits. Mortlock are extremely rare, and even with the condition of the back and the Baroque painting, it would auction at.
And this piece here, I would go in and I would catalog the Mortlock at 20 to 25,000.
Okay.
On this piece, I would go 10 to 15,000.